Okay, and we're back with another Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. So in the last, well, let's just look first, okay? Let's just look first. Okay, so yesterday what we found out is that, oh, not here. So we found, the police department actually caught a suspect, okay, which is Officer Meekins, okay. The thing is that they say that Officer Meekins, he, after Mike Meekins, he killed them, okay. Then he was apprehended right after the scene. But the thing is, if you remember, Meekins was actually have an alibi because after that, okay, Officer Meekins, came to deliver something to Edgeworth, okay. So in a sense, he have an alibi. So he's not the one, okay. It's like people are trying to make him the scapegoat for the true murder, okay. And we found out that that the lunch lady, Jake Marshall, okay, they used to be a detectives, okay, but something happened, the SL9 incident, and the SL9 happened, and they lost their job or like they got demoted, okay, bad things happen, okay. So now, okay, we went and checked in the crime scene, okay. So we found out stupid things about, Detective Gumshoe, he's not being paid well and everything, because he screwed up a lot, okay. But we checked for the fingerprints, and we found out that Jake's fingerprint is at the crime scene. So how did his fingerprint get, turned into it, okay? It's like they wipe it off. It's not blood stained, but it's still nearby there, okay? So it's very sus. But then again, it could be that they didn't wipe it off, okay? The possibility. So I can't really say much, okay? Now, let's try and take a look at, what's gonna happen in today's trial, okay? So, what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in two different places at the same time, and a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I used to all-nighters though. And you look fine after that? An all-night interrogation? So how did it go? It says Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? I agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you. Much to my regret, I'm as much as in the dark as they are. This guy, we found trace of evidence of a certain person in the police department evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, do you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall? Yeah. We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. The thing is that even if even if she tried to cover for somebody, I think her sense of justice would not allow her to let the criminal go free. Ding. Court is now in session of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim Bruce Goodman was slain in both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, actually the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Wow. This is one messed up trial. You know, if that's the case, the most logical answer is, like, Edgeworth is the one that drove the body out. Why isn't he in custody? Part of my duty as a prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today, I'll present evidence relating to a murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. But now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait. Farewell, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. Why not Lana? The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Ooh boy. Okay. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Okay. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. I'm also Mike Meekin, sir. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir. Why am I surrounded by idiots? So you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. Why? Does he admit it? I never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir. Actually, what we like to hear from you is, sir, I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose action adults can't possibly comprehend. Well, he got the part of not understanding, not comprehending is correct. Mr. Edgeworth, sir? Help me, sir. Officer Meekins? Yes, sir. Give us your report on the crime. Consider that an order. Yes, sir. As you wish. After all, I'm a part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. No, you don't. And no, we don't. You can't fault him for lack of enthusiasm. Crime report, sir. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. Why is that? I spotted a suspicious man on the security cam screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. For the victim, Detective Goodman attacked you? Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir. I see. Then you fainted? A colleague helped you regain consciousness? Yes, sir. He knocked me upside down. He knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. By the way, it's fine. We work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir. God, now I'm afraid. That's scary thought. Evidence transfer was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. Okay. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. The Blue Badger? Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the Chief of Detectives, sir. They just love using this, right? I was sure it wasn't broken during the transfer process. That was my sole mission of the day, sir. Waste of taxpayers' money. Sounds like very important mission. After the award ceremony finished, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you get there? I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. In order to enter the evidence room, you need to use an ID card, am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck. So then, your ID number should be listed here, right? There it is! I found it! This one right here. Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir. It's 498-9596. That's my number, sir. I see, but the number 4... It's being shown twice! Please explain, witness. It's no real mystery, sir. The first time when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room, and the second time is when I went to get him after everything settled down. Wait! Look at this! It's 5:14, right? How can this happen? It's 5:12! Gah! We found something. I see. So it was during that second time when? Yes, sir. That was when I spotted the man on the security screen. Data added to ID card record. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. Trained to do? So you were attacked. Please tell us exactly what happened to you. It was a knife, sir. A knife? Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you? What happened then? Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised I was. You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arm like an octopus, struggling to retain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand. Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be... When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. I fought for my life, then I did it. What exactly mean by did it? I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into Kung Fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for an instant, so I snatched his knife from him. He took his knife. I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. I see. He must have been desperate. The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of blood, and then, the next thing I knew, yes, he punched me right in the face, sir. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me. What about the time you... what time you regained consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. Oh, right. According to the report, the officer that woke up the witness it was about 5:30. He hit me right in the head too. I woke up crying tears of pain. That's nice. It's nice that you recovered, that is. When I came around though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. The mission? The Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand. It is the witness! Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor, only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins? With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gann delivered it to me just this morning, sir. Chief? Delivered it? What is that? A videotape? Yes, sir. It's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room. What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and was told it had been mistakenly erased. It's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication in the police department is as good as ever. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the victim of you murdering the victim. Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me. You confess that you were the murderer. A video of a real murder. What are we getting ourselves into? Huh? Look at that. The glove drop. Not that reliable, if you ask me. Not that reliable. But what's the body? Well, I believe we are all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these feelings stirred within us? What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood? That is the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir. Pride and joy? It's the blue badger, sir. Give me a second. Give me a second. Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Security tape added into the court record. Yes, well, anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone. Oops. Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness testimony will suffice. I think that's needed as well. Okay? Is that all? Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins? Yes, sir. As you wish, sir. Mystery Man. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do it. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing, that would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to be Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. His face can't be clearly seen in the video. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with a knife? Sir, if you must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face, I believe I would be classified as the latter. The latter, but you were standing in front of him, were you not? More to the point, you were the person who fought him, aren't you? Oh yes, sir, but I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking to people, you see. Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer. God damn. Why the heck is he allowed to bring a loudspeaker into the courtroom? I'm sure it was him. I bet my badge on it. Oh, then that badge is good, it's gone. But there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face. Well, I suppose you might say that. But if you must label people as having seen or not seen it, since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it. Why is everybody looking at me? If I had to label your stares or as disturbing or... Meekins? Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please, be more certain when you testify. Yes, sir. You claim that the man who brandished the knife on you was Bruce Goodman? That's why you are positive it was him. I mean, he opened the locker which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. About these lockers, is there no other way to open them? No sir, I tried all kinds of methods in the past. Why? They only respond to registered fingerprints, sir. I wonder what kind of methods he tried. If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to its registered fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to. Exactly my point, sir, and this too. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman, sir. Hold it! How do you know that information? I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir. People in the know? The workers in the department cafeteria, sir. They keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic trouble, sir. Huh? For the record, the open locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source. But the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint? So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video, the man's face. Sir, if I may say something, sir, please do. After all, you are being examined. I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust its knife to my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir. Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie. That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. Right, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem? Yes, there's a problem. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there's one thing in particular that seems rather strange. This contradiction leads to the possibility that that man may not have been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction? Objection! Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edward? I propose we have the defense point to us this alleged contradiction in the video. He would want me to point it out. Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us the contradiction you speak of. I have to point out a problem in the video? This is the first time I ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. I set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and make sure to point out the right thing. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video. How did this guy ever become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. I've got a feeling that he's gonna become a mailman at the end. Dun. Da. Come on, speed up. Up. Rewind. And take that. The thing is, that strange video would have to be this. Hold on a second. I need to use my eye drops. Well, I don't get it. Would you mind if I borrow your eye medicine? Huh? What do I do? Play the video again. Every time you point your finger, someone gets hurt. Says the one pointing its finger at us. I thought it was the glove. I thought it was the glove. Which one is it? Let's look carefully. What's the contradiction that is not Detective Goodman? Because I did saw like the I need to use the finger. I didn't point using the finger. There. Hup. Damn it. Take that. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. That is certainly strange. Something certainly seems unnatural about that. What could it mean? Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Wright, but you seem to have forgotten the point of this exercise. The point? What you are looking for is one thing and one thing only. Something that indicates... Yeah, the thing is that the fingerprint... Hey, they might use something on the glove. Oh yeah. I almost walked right into the defense's trap. I'm placing him under arrest, sir. Rat, I need to slow down and tackle these things one piece at a time. Now what do? Play the video again. Okay. There's one more contradiction. Where's the damn body? The glove thing is not considered as evidence? Wait. Give me a second. The thing is that we need to find evidence that this is not Mr. Goodman. But then, the body not being there doesn't show that it's not Goodman. Okay, let's continue. Okay, we did see him. Let's see. The hell, you blue badger! Wait. Rewind. Wait. He's not injured yet, right? On the right shoulder? Yeah. Look at that. Look at the shoulder. Look at the shoulder, okay? But maybe it's not his blood. It's Meekins' blood. Okay, let's rewind. Let's go find it. No, not that. Which part of it? Shows that he is not of Mr. Goodman. Huh? The glove? It's not the glove. Okay, now I'm confused. Okay. Now I'm confused. What? What is it? Let's play the video again one more time. Okay. Right. Right. So yeah. I just don't know where. Where? Give me a second. Wait, let me see. Give me a second. Let me rewind, it says. Give me a second. It says here we can present this. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Oh, Mr. Meekins? Sir, do you mean me? As I understand, the locker apparatus looks like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, there's something seriously wrong in this video. There. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind it a bit earlier. There. Here, notice the light? What's this? It's already lit? Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Order? What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. Or at the time of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered. And the locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know, it must have been broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. It's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect any report any malfunction. Oh well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouth shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor? Yes, why wasn't the lock locked? Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Maybe something like jam the system sensor? Something jam the system sensor? Say, there's something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage. Very well, let's inspect the video once more. Like the other one is that it's the glove falling off. Yup. Take that! Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. What's this? Something white fell off the locker. But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when the doors are open. I often fall out and roll great distances. We can't be sure the item was completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. But what if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door? Inserted? This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me. But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator. Yes, an insulator. But at the crime scene, this just might have been something that fits the description. But sir, by insulator you don't mean... I think I finally got this figured out. Very well, will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that was stuck in the locker room? Locker door. Take that! Take that! I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure that was the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attached to this. On the day of the crime, even I couldn't have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins? Sir. No, even I. It would appear so. You see, even I could open it, right? Order? So we are to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman? Do not be misled, Miss Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? The defense has merely demonstrated that the possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove of this. What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this. Sir? Me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir. Is this a joke? Very well, begin your testimony. Mystery Man 2. There's one thing that proves that the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. An ID card record. I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim. Just before the crime, Yes, without a doubt this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. But why were so few people using this room? This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon. Right, I see. Now let us move on to cross-examination. Mystery Man 2. There's one thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. Okay, what is it? ID card. Is that card hanging from your neck? From your neck, one of those ID? Yes, sir. The card right next to my cuff, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it. But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that? Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining times my ID card that gets stuck. Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and prosecutor offices can attest to this. Please proceed with your testimony. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Earlier, I believe you testified you asked the man to show his ID card. He pulled a knife on you. Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir. Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife. Maybe he just panicked. Everything stems from contradiction. Let's point them out. What do you think? I'm confused. The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not unusual to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we got. This is a record of it. Okay, this is the one I see just now. To enter, you must use the ID card. This is a record of it. Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to. Let me see. That would be it, Detective Goodman. What's the matter? According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here. So it is, Your Honor. Not that prosecutor again. Hey, maybe he's behind all of this. Being a prosecutor, he couldn't hide the evidence. Mommy, is that man in blue a murderer? Shh, you got the wrong color, kid. By the way, like, why the heck are you bringing your child here? It's not some kind of reality TV show. It would seem the inquiry committee would want to speak with you again today. I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let's continue with the cross-examination. For Mr. Edgeworth, it must be so difficult for him. Huh. So what you're trying to say is... this time? Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at a crime scene. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm referring to the evidence room at the police department. I'm not referring to I mean the other crime scene, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. A lost item report? It's only half completed. But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess, you believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there's a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Order, order? So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Order, order, order. Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo? Allow me to summarize the defense argument. At 5:15 PM on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not a Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murderer in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. Let me guess, who is it? Well, it seems you finally realize it. Exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place. Shit! Then we just proved that it could be Lana Skye did murder Bruce Goodman at the parking lot at the police department at 5:15 PM on the day of the crime. So, the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot. At the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. In the evidence room, still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim of the Meekins encounter? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else, Lana. What do we do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this, man? Object!
Objection!
One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you are objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not, but I'm almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security camera did not show the actual murder. What? What? Because the body is not there. There's no body. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amount of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of this matter. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor? If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. How can it be unrelated? It's the same guy. That, that this just might be my chance. Trying to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean, Your Honor? The defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh, whom do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person who you would have to testify. What is his or her name? Jake Marshall. Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He is in charge of the evidence room. If we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Very well. The court will take 30 minutes recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. He knew this would happen. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You call for Jake Marshall. You seem you figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Lana, you're the one who knows everything. Emma, you always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall asking for his protection. How can he be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Gumshoe! Do you need to do this? God damn it. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh. Yes, I am. I'll come back later. Might as well talk. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around while on duty. And on top of that, you call me here. It seems happier people. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, Detective. Sorry, Detective. You better be, pal. Hey! I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Scott. It's okay. So, have you brought what I asked? You mean this, right? My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Would that bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident? But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, You might do well to read them. I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in the case. Miss Guy. Miss Guy was a witness? SL9 incident received from Lana Sky. Files for Joe Dart killings, solved 2 years ago. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders. What? Now that I've brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me? Kinda. Let me just read. Close. Perpetrator, Joe Dart. Crime, serial murder. Sentence, death. Victims, Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jet Bates, Neil Marshall? Wait. Neil Marshall? Is it Jake's brother? Trial data, head prosecutor, Miles Edgeworth. Witness, Lana Sky, Emma Sky. Wait. Emma? Executive investigators, Damon Gant, Lana Sky. Huh. You are the witness and the investigator? Head investigator? What's the difference between executive investigator and head investigator? Supervisor? Emma, but why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know. Unless it couldn't be Lana? This SL9 incident, is that? That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dart killings. The Joe Dart. No, Lana. That's over with. No. Emma, wait. She ran away. You know what? I just remember I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here. Jake Marshall, Angel Star, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial. Mr. Wright, best of luck. I better take a good look at this file. Yeah, I did take a look. Joe Dart. Who the hell is... Okay. Joe Dart. Well, there's no dark over here. You know, my bet is, you know, the chief of police is the one that did it. To be continued. We're gonna go for another one. Dun, 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 dun. February 24th, 12:14, District Court, Courtroom number 9. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Is he drinking alcohol? Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on that day of the crime took place. Is this correct? According to your papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. This is not old English. This is present English. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at the side street saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. And what the heck is still on the force? I would have fired him. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even Cowpoke like you knows about those. Yeah, well, what about the fingerprint activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprints activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are they? He's not even being very helpful. He's not that good with machines, or with following orders. Everyone's got their weakness now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Day of the crime. Phone orchard. Okay, probably the evidence room. They said I was supposed to make around 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets loose get in his way. You're not a desperado. Thank you. No desperados I know joined the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say anything. I've been in the crypt I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? Thank you. Besides, the room protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at the street side saloon at the time it went down. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel Steak's lunch can beat that flawless Mongolian sepia pasta. You even tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. This is usually where Edward says, did you not want the raise this year? I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if we're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. Out of ammo, sir? That's right, partner, or as you would call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texas don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I best keep my cool. Before I use it though, I better stir up the ante. Phone orchard. How exactly do you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just make sure nothing moves in the security camera monitor. That room's so still. Even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings. Interred them? Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. Wait. Erasing evidence? Wow. Things that are not useful. Okay. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Every 6 hours? Every time I erase a tape, it felt like erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room? Protected by 2 security systems. You used to be a detective, so you used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course, back in the day, my locker was a goldmine of evidence. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism? Sorry, partner. I ain't good with machines. I wouldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite, incredible. The sensors on the lockers cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that you mentioned it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? Okay. Okay, let's ask everything. We did see all of this. Make rounds 3 times a day. Yeah, this one he said. You have a step. 2 security systems. Okay, this is when he went out to eat spaghetti. Out of ammo. It's not it. This is not it. Then what is? There's nothing that pops out. Wait. Give me a second. Maybe I need to use this. Okay, this is about evidence, right? Let's ask him about this. Security video. What are his... this is not it. If you're correct, he would slam the table. And we will hear a thud. Okay, let's see. He said that we should not use this first. Evidence from a past case of Edgeworth brought back to his office by Gant's request. Bruce, Miles Edgeworth, Mike Meekins. He said that he didn't step foot. Luminol testing fluid. No, it's not. Victim shoe. No. Let's try and ask him about this online. No, it doesn't. Oh god. What do I need to do now? Wait, not this one, I'm supposed to show evidence. Let's ask him about the It does? Oh, come on. Maybe at the end. This one? Oh shit, I'm dead. What now? Okay. Shit. I think I need to redo. Because I really screwed up. Okay, we're gonna question him. We're gonna question everything. Day of the crime. Okay, now let's ask question everything. And then later I'm gonna save. Hold it. They say I was supposed to make rounds. Press. This now only have one life. 2 security. Okay. I was eating spaghetti. Do you not want to hear this? Okay. Okay. Our street side saloon at the time went down. Maybe we can try this. Marshall's fingerprint. Officer Marshall, does it sound odd? This is you being called in to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime, and yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, and that is to make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints will be in there. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away. However, the luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. Huh? I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall? About the blood-stained fingerprints? Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints. Found at the scene of the crime. Blood-stained fingerprints. I think I should save. Here. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. The murderer touched their locker where my fingerprint was by chance. You sure? You sure? The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing a glove? Wait, how did he know that he's wearing a glove? See? I had nothing to do with it. Oh, he checked the videotape. Well, the witness explanation appears valid, although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. Blood-stained fingerprints. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. Hold it. That's because you... How did you pay your respect once a month? Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What do you mean? I mean, I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. How can you use? You're no longer a detective. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. See, it'd be strange if my prints weren't all over on that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from the locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Okay. Marshall fingerprints records updated in the court record. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. Now that's very sus. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine? It's no mystery. Please accept. Please explain. My locker is covered with my fingerprints. It's just so happened the murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances are that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Unrelated? They are different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One's got to do with breakfast, while the other time's a murder. He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different. I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. More like homophones. And didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? How did you know he was wearing a glove? How did you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the report. There was a blood stain at the murder, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? The seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzard. There's only one reality, and that's this. The security chip. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall. Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? What do you mean by that? You want to tie this crime to me, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth, and the floor isn't shown. Okay. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. Okay, we don't have time for your speculation, Mr. Wright. Okay, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. Okay, let's show evidence. Let's point out. Let's watch it again. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. Now let's watch. Show us the incriminating. Let's pay attention to Jake's one. Okay, now it's clear, right, over there. Huh? Let's pay attention to it. Let's pay attention to it. Nothing, right? I don't think this is his blood. I think this is Meekin's blood. Nothing. Nothing. Dun, 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 dun. Ta-da! What the hell? That was fast! Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you will not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking out, that was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Oops, this is backwards. dun, 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 dun. Aha! Oh, the white cloth. It's gone! What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then, it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order, order. It would seem that the only... Hold your horses, partner. But you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know! I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker, now prove it. Wait, I can check on my badge? A number is engraved on the back of the badge. I wish they put my name on instead. Only the assigned detective prints can unlock it. Indicator lamps light up when it's open. A fingerprint sensor? We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint lock. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? I only got one word for you, partner. No. No to what? Order, order, order. Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you, this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the scene of the crime. At the time of the crime. Olay! Please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in this evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? You see, Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right, there's only one possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Dun 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 dun! Officer Marshall was standing right here. So Officer Meekins didn't notice him standing there. That's almost as credible as Meekins' warp theory. Your chamber's empty, partner. Better reload. Now they're ganging up on me. Perhaps you should think a little more about where Officer Marshall was. You should have seen him in the evidence room. Could be. Oops. Oh, he's the victim. Take that! Officer Marshall was standing right here. There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman? He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did the Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Someone about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why did he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blurry. Officer Meekin would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? You're still denying it. You gotta have to do better than to break a detective. Unless you have a hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. Dude, you're no longer a detective. You're a former detective. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care about your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems like you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. This can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, they'll be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside of the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather I should look for the evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of his locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions? I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot. Very well. Let's take another look at the security tape. After committing to the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away a white cloth. Please show us why the witness did so. When the blue badger. So the white cloth is definitely his coat, right? It's so bulky, it have to like, you know, come out. By the way, and I've already said, look at the shoulder blood earlier today. Pay attention. Nothing yet. Cha! And now there's blood. Wait. Is he gone? Yeah, he's gone. So we have to go back. About here. Take that! What do you have to say that? Alright, partner. You want to know? Really want to know the reason I had to open my locker? Why? So I could stop you in there. I'm sure the world would be a better place if you sent to the boneyard. Fortunately, unsolved cases can't be stored in the evidence room. Now I'm an unsolved case? Okay, I need to pause. He opened his locker for some unknown purpose. It's the blood. Just now that I didn't... Okay. Let's fast forward and we pause later, okay? When we see the blood. Okay. Meekins. Okay, here it is. Hey! Take that! For some reason, you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman, and you enter the evidence room, though I don't know to what end. Yet, however, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. Then, when asked to show your ID card, you pull a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. So, you admit it? Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated you all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you are only half as persistent as you were today, we all wouldn't have to be here now, would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court of what you did. All of it. Alright. It seems the time has come. Marshall's confession. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed up like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. And I managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. But then, why is it considered as a murder? Somebody has to do a cover-up. The only person that can authorize that is the chief of police. God damn. I suppose... So the supposed victim was really you? But there was one thing I still don't understand. The traces of large quantity of the blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess, he's the donor. It was way too much blood for a small donation. Officer Marshall's confession? Well, I just had to do it that day. I just couldn't stand and let it die. When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since the case was closed. I was going to completely end with the transfer that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only a case lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why I... Remember, his brother probably is murdered. I stole the detective's ID and dressed up like him. I planned to take out the evidence. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like the Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer, I'll be arresting for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anyway. So you did it to fool the security camera and the detective ID card. I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was when Goodman started filling out the lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to escape despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean, the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. Wait, somebody set him up. Somebody set him up. God damn. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins, so I knocked him out. You pull a knife on Officer Meekins and try to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID? I have to think a little more about his race this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me, and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry I had to turn out that way, with me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you knocked out Officer Meekins out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. But there is a footage. You didn't leave it? However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when he came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. What you're saying is on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What, are you blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, partner. What's the evidence? Detective Goodman's locker was already empty, except for the gloves. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. No, it's not. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer? This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't be forgiven with a simple salary cut. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't forget the SL9 incident. You know why? Why? But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark, was convicted for his crime. One thing I can say for sure, he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I didn't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know, but that's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with the incident? Maybe I could present him with what I think his real reason is. I had a feeling we'll wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I better take another look at the files. We saw his... This one here. Look at that. Neil Marshall. Victim. We'll wait till to the end. You know why? I think that you know why part. Present.
Objection!
Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yes. I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? You must be talking about the King of Prosecutor Award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was... my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. So this is him. So I was wondering why there's two cowboys. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed, at least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. You already been fooled by technology before. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. And he should be... he should be in jail for injuring an officer and, identity theft. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekes confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It's got to be more than just that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means that the murder in the prosecutor's parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Scott. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's file. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me the boy got the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Sky. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. I rest my case. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time. Disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security tape really was fake, but I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana's guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. The court finds the defendant. Hold it? Your Honor? Wait. Emma? The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor? In a sense. Please, Your Honor. All I'm asking for is a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edward, please? Where's the bailiff? I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of from shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings. Now that she mentioned it, the name of both Sky sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. And that left only one thing. The other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? But I figured if I examine scientifically, I'll be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry. I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Yeah. No shit. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. Mr. Wright, those traces of blood were the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright, with regard to the incident at the police department, does any unreasonable doubt remain? It appears defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Mr. Tape, can I watch it? Dun, 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 dun. There's the fingerprint there. Maybe we can use that. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright? I'm sorry I can't be more of use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be... Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If I ever needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something? I object, of course. This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows the contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is you're grasping, Mr. Wright. You're staring pretty intently at the floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at this floor plan. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, there's got to be something. The question is, which item can prove that something is missing? The Blue Badger! Look at that, look at that. There. There. The blue badger is not there. What about that piece of plywood? The blue badger, mascot of the police force, defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The blue badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well, what? Duh! That's right. So long as the blue badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot at the locker. What? So that means, just exactly what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found in that locker. Don't look at me. I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma, on that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the blue badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that means this blood mark was left there before the blue badger was brought in. Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time, someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim.
Objection!
The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, now the reason why is that, if he was really murdered before then, so around 4:50, Mike Meekins brought it in, right? And then 5:15, is when that happened. So it must have been this time, 4:20. But most probably would see it, right? That does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. Oh wait, he tried to pin it on Edgeworth, but this thing happened, Meekins happened. So the true culprit, the one that opened the locker, the one that left the locker unlocked, wanted to frame him. That does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right, the blood marks on the locker prove this. Very well, then tell us. When did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edwards said, proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense present this evidence? Take that! If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card. Oh, the ID card record. Officer Meekins brought the blue badger into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:15. If the crime took place before then it would be 4:40. Ah, Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it could have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear that the luminal test that blood was there. When the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's take a look at the chart again. There's only one other card number, 777. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. Give me a second. I want to save this. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 77777. Mr. Edgeworth, look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 77777. That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card, at least at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID card, number 7, belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. It is Damon Can.
Objection!
But that's ridiculous. Just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority. An official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? With all your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how prosecutor office operates.
Objection!
I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate if you keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay, let me ask you a question. Yes? No, not you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana?
Objection!
Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course, we look up in her ID number, and it's not 777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I wanted to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident? Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In the trial 2 years ago, did you really only use the legitimate evidence? We got another one? Oh god, this is so long, damn it. Do you need the witness to repeat this question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for the trial. At the time, occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana? I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, what are you saying? I ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During the trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in the court? Can you look me an investigator in that crime in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to. in order for him to get the verdict he deserves. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence, let me guess, she's in love with Marshall's brother. See, that's what I'm talking about. No! Order, order, order? Lana's remark caused such a stir. The chaos would have to wait until the following day. Damn. Okay, that was a lot of twists and turns. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be investigating this. Okay, we'll do the investigation. Okay, like day 4 is the final one, so that's gonna be, where we'll probably find out who the true culprit is, but we gotta do a lot of investigating. So we gotta find quadruples, seven sevens. Okay, so who is this guy? And if we have the evidence right now with us, okay, I would say the only person we would rank chief or higher, well, is without Lana and Damon Gant, Joe Dark. So I think Neil Marshall. Well, he's only a prosecutor, so I think like Damon Gant, the top dog in the PD, and I think like he's the big guy, and also he's related to Joe Dark as well. Okay, so it's very very, the mystery is still not yet solved. Okay, so we'll try and see how it goes, but until then, I need to get my rest, and tomorrow we'll go for it one more. Okay, tomorrow we'll investigate, and it's probably gonna take a lot of time. And on Friday we'll try to wrap it all up. Okay, we'll try to wrap it all up, and I do wish that like it's not gonna be too long. Okay, like one thing I feel like without investigating it's fun, but I feel like it's too dragged out. Okay. Let's prepare for a long day tomorrow, okay? So with that said, I'll end the stream here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.